what's up? It's Roll here coming to you today with something RxC. Today we're joined by the lovely Fatima. How are you going today?
Good, thank you. How are you, Rael?
Yeah, very good. So Fatima, tell us a little bit about yourself, about Freedom Fit and your fitness journey.
Okay, about myself, I am a mum, a widowed mum of 3 little boys. I say little now, 12, 10 and 7. I came across fitness, I guess, about 4.5 years ago when I moved to Adelaide after my husband passed away. I started training and I found that I didn't feel crazy. I was the sort of girl that at school didn't do any sport. I was really uncoordinated, couldn't even catch a ball, so I didn't start exercising until about 4.5 years ago when I actually joined a gym here in Adelaide.
Yeah.
I found that exercising made me a better mother. Just made me be able to cope with things a lot better, day-to-day struggles and things like that. I had a few health issues, went down the path of a naturopath and changing the way I was eating, which also helped me along my journey. And then I found faith. So for me, faith, fitness and food is where it's at. That's how I've gone through all the struggles that I have as a widowed mum.
Very cool. Now faith, in relation to faith, how did you come about to finding your faith?
I always had faith, I always believed in God, but because of the struggle that I had when my husband passed away, unfortunately he committed suicide. I was there when it happened and I am very lucky to be here today. So from that day my faith was stronger than ever, that there was something more than what we see here and now. So yeah, that's where my faith has come from, and faith has helped me realise that no matter what struggle I have, no matter what challenge I face, there's something more. You know, there's always something more. I can always get through it. That's what it's done for me. Now, with Freedom Fit is empowering your body and freeing your mind through faith, fitness and food. Whether you believe in God or Buddha or whatever it is that you do believe in, there's always faith in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself that you can do and be better than what you are. And you've got to have faith that you can break through your own self-imposed limitations.
The reason why I wanted to concentrate on faith a little bit is because I think it's something that's really important when in fitness and when we're trying to achieve our goals, no matter what they are, whether they're in CrossFit or just your average fitness goer. We all need to eventually come to that realization that there's this aspect of faith, like, do I have faith in myself?
That's right.
Do I have faith in what I'm trying to do? And sometimes we neglect that, or we just don't want to deal with it. You know, we think that it's just going to work harder and harder and harder. And there's a whole mental side to, you know, training and to getting to your goals that people don't often talk about.
Absolutely, you've got to believe it in your mind, and we are our own worst enemies because we have self-imposed limitations, and I've had plenty of those. I did a lot of personal development with Tony Robbins, and I know you're a big fan of Tony Robbins. And that helped me when I was going to get on stage in my first bodybuilding competition. I was so fearful of getting up on stage in front of everyone. I was fearful of failure, but I also realised through listening to those audios that I was also fearful of success, because if I did get up on stage, if I didn't run away from the stage and I actually got up there and I did do well, what would I do after that? Or was I just like a one-hit wonder? I realised that was a limitation I'd had all through my life growing up. So that was a big revelation, I guess, for me. Once I realised that and recognised it, I was able to work on breaking through it. And once I broke through a lot of my own self-imposed barriers, and faith played a big part in that, a whole new world opened up to me. I thought, wow, I can achieve this, and I actually thought I never could. So then I just started aiming higher and higher and higher, and realised how much I can actually achieve.
Of course. And fear of success is something that, you know, I don't think a lot of people stop and think about, but it's a really real thing. Like, people, there's a great quote, and I'm hoping that I can think of it before I speak. Our biggest fear isn't that we are inadequate. Our biggest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
And sometimes it takes sometimes a while to understand what that means, but you know, it's what if we can achieve what we want to do? What if I could be that person that I want to be? What if I can what if I can climb the mountain that I said I could never do? You know, what happens there? So I think it's really important. It's great that you touched on that. Food's another big part of your methodologies and what you believe in.
Yes, it is. So until I moved to Adelaide, even when I first moved, about 4 and 5 years ago, I was still eating 5 chocolates a day, white bread, lollies, biscuits. That was part of my daily diet. That's what I ate all the time. I did eat a good evening meal, but I lived on that. So I ended up with autoimmune disease. So went, like I said, down the naturopath path. Had to change what I was eating and start supplementing my body because I didn't want vitiligo. I don't know if you know what it is, but it's where your brown skin turns white.
Okay.
That started on my face and other parts of my body, so I was willing to do anything possible to turn that around. So I had to change my eating to gluten-free. Unfortunately, the first thing I did was run around Adelaide looking for gluten-free options of lollies, biscuits, donuts, whatever I could find. I didn't quite get that I should be eating whole foods, real foods, not processed foods. So once I did make that change, between exercise and cleaning up what I was eating and starting to actually eat real whole foods, my body responded a lot better. And with natural therapies, I was able to reverse some of the whitening of my skin.
Yeah.
So yeah, food plays a huge part. And I noticed that the way I felt mentally when I ate clean food was different to when I'd eat a packet of chocolate biscuits.
Yeah.
There was one packet of chocolate biscuits that I used to eat that was really bad, and it would make me really moody.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
What was it?
They were what were they called? They were honeycomb crunch. I think they were honeycomb crunch biscuits.
Yeah.
I would just buy the packet, you know, and eat it between the shops and home. I'd just devour it.
Yeah.
So the other thing that helped me change my eating was when I decided to compete. I had just become a personal trainer for personal interests. Like I said, I started exercising and felt that I was a better mother and I didn't feel crazy when I did exercise. So I went the next step and did a PT course just because I wanted to know why it was affecting me mentally and how my food was affecting me mentally and physically. Then I found that I really enjoyed it and decided I'd continue on with that career. And I felt like a hypocrite telling people to change the way they were eating when they needed to lose weight, when that's something that I'd never had to do.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I chose to compete in the bodybuilding competition was, one, to push myself to another level, but two, kind of like an experiment on myself to make myself not eat certain foods. So I understood what it was like for my clients that I was telling to change their lifestyle. I went, I'm telling them to change my lifestyle, but I don't have to do any of this to lose weight. That was never an issue for me. I felt like a hypocrite. So that was one of the reasons I decided to.
Yeah. What was that? What was competing in bodybuilding like? Tell us about that process.
It definitely stretched me.
Yeah.
When I first decided to compete, I said probably right up until the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do this. I'm just trying to see for my health and to help me understand my clients as a PT. It definitely stretched me. I grew a lot. Towards the end of comp prep, I had to train in the morning, do cardio in the morning, cardio in the evening, train through the day. I worked 2 part-time jobs and 3 little boys on my own with no family support. So that was difficult. When it got to the last 2 weeks, I went, wow, I didn't know that I was going to have to do 45 minutes of cardio in the morning and at night. Where am I going to fit this in?
Yeah.
Maybe I just won't bother. This is going to be the reason why I don't succeed. I looked for an excuse and a way out. And then I went, no, where there's a will, there's a way. So I used to walk up and down the street in front of my house with the door ajar at about 4:30 in the morning so that I could hear if the children woke up in the cold and the wet, with an Anthony Robbins audio in my ear to keep me going. So
that's really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, it definitely pushed me to the next level, and actually pushing through, it felt like I broke down a massive brick wall that was in front of me and had been there for so many years in my life, which was representing so many limitations that I'd imposed on myself. Yeah. So once I got onto the stage, I felt like I had broken through that wall. I tried to climb over it, under it, bash through it. I finally got through, and there was that whole new world. When I got on stage, I was nervous as heck because I'm not someone who likes to get up in front of people. I never even liked oral presentations at school or anything like that. But I still remember the moment where basically I looked up to the skies and I was like, F you to my husband. Though I loved him very much, 15 years, he was a very controlling man, and I was not allowed to join a gym, let alone wear a bikini on stage. So it was a very empowering moment for me.
Yeah. No, very cool. We're just going to take a break, guys, and we'll come back and we'll keep hearing about your story, Fatima.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we are back. Last thing we were talking about was your journey through, competing in bodybuilding, and how that stretched you as a person, as a mother, in your faith, and in your previous experiences.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to touch a little bit more about what it's been like for you to be a widowed mum of 3, beautiful children, and decided to take your fitness to that next level. I know that's a very common excuse for a lot of people. They can't fit everything they want in their life in, and it's normal. It's human behavior to want to find these excuses, to be like, I can't do it because of my kids, I can't do it because of my job, I can't do it because of my income, I can't do it because the people around me don't want to do it. What has that been like to juggle so many things at once in your life?
Well, for me, when I realised that when I exercised I didn't feel crazy, then I realised, of course, that made me a better mother. So it didn't matter if I had a little bit of time away from my kids, because I was actually a better mother. Then I was a better daughter, I was a better friend, I was a better person all round. With juggling everything, I think what's important is to not use your kids as an excuse not to. Use your kids as the reason why you do it. Because if you're physically, mentally and emotionally well, you're going to be a better parent, you're going to be a better friend, you're going to be a better partner. So as a mum, I've come from a place where, mums often martyr themselves. They do everything for everyone else and everything else first before themselves, because they feel that's what they should do. And they feel guilty taking time out for themselves. But with the women that I've worked with, I've turned around and said, because this is where I've come from, what happens when you're physically, mentally or emotionally unwell? What good are you to your children, your partner, or the people that are the most important to you in the world? You're no good to them if you end up sick with disease or mentally unwell or in hospital or just not being able to function or being a happy person. So take some time out for yourself and put yourself number one. It's not selfish, it's actually selfless. You put yourself number one, you're physically, mentally and emotionally strong, and then you're better all round. So you're also a wonderful example to your children.
Yeah.
To be well-rounded. So
So
I make no excuses of putting myself and my health and fitness first.
So the same things that are pulling us down can be things that push us up.
Exactly. It's just a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
Just changing your perspective, or asking yourself a question in a different way.
Yeah. Now, you've obviously gone through a pretty tragic experience with your husband. How were you able to overcome and deal with that over the time and through fitness? You said that exercise was something that made you feel very empowered and allowed you to find yourself a little bit again.
It did, yeah. Mentally, it helped me, but it felt good coming from a relationship where I loved my husband very, very much, but like I mentioned before, he was a very controlling person. It was an abusive situation, so feeling strong was something that really helped me. I had the need to feel strong, not just in my mind, but I needed to feel physically strong. I needed to feel that I could look after myself physically, and that I could look after my children, and that I could look after my castle, my home, that I could defend it.
Yeah.
Got three young boys. They were 6, 4 and not even 2 years old when their father passed away. So I needed to be able to be strong enough to protect them as well.
And that's such a thing that sometimes we overlook. I mean, I think that's why people started lifting weights in the first place. We want that confidence of feeling like, we can lift lift things and we feel strong, and then that makes our confidence go up. But it is such a big, how we feel, really dictates how our life goes in some ways. Absolutely. And if you find that thing that, that gives you the energy and gives you the power and physically makes you feel strong enough to go through life and do whatever it is you have to do, whether it's your job or whether it is, the circumstances of the life that you come from, it's a very powerful tool.
It is, and having 3 young boys, I felt that they're going to be big and they're going to be strong, and I need to teach them from the ground up how to be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, to not make the same mistakes that I made, growing up in terms of the way I ate and looked after myself, and also needed to be fit and strong enough to keep up with them. And having 3 young boys and learning how to be not only mum and dad, because mum and dad roles are very, very different.
Yeah.
I read a book called Raising Boys, which I wish I had read years ago, because it certainly helped me realise how different the 2 roles are and how I had to do both.
Yeah.
To find the boundaries. I needed to be very strong to keep these kids in line, because they're a bundle of energy.
Yeah.
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 So that's another reason.
Yeah, awesome. Now we're going to move the topic a little bit, and something I want to talk to you about and discuss with you is you've been a trainer in the industry, and you're very involved in the fitness industry. I mean, you go to lots of gyms every week, and you get to see a good perspective of what the state of the industry is like, and what people's successes, goals, and problems are. What do you think what's the biggest challenge that you think the average person faces, in trying to achieve their fitness goals at the moment?
You hear all the time, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
We all have the same 24 hours, it's just a matter of priorities. Secondly, the people who are actually out training in the general gyms, a lot of them I find don't actually goal set. I'll ask them, what are your goals when I'm out doing body composition analysis, or what are you wanting to achieve? And I often get, I don't know, maybe lose some weight or get fit, and they're not very clear and defined as to what they're wanting to achieve.
Yeah.
Now, only 3 to 5% of people actually achieve goals. They're the ones who write them down. So I'm very big on asking the people I meet with a lot of questions, because a lot of the time they don't actually understand or know what it is they're trying to achieve. So I'm a big believer in questions are the answers. So if you ask enough questions and the right questions, you can help them to realise what it is they're wanting to achieve. So fitness for someone who's new to exercise, who's 100 kilos, is different to what my definition of fitness is.
Yeah.
So it's getting down to drill down really to find out what it is that they're wanting to achieve. Once they are clear on what their goals are and what they're at the gym trying to do, then they can actually make a plan and move towards it. Otherwise it's like throwing a dart in a dark room and trying to hit a bullseye. You don't know what you're aiming for. So I think the most important thing is to first assess where you're at, and then secondly is get really clear, spend some time getting really clear on what you're trying to achieve, and not enough people do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm passionate about talking to people about what they're wanting to achieve, encouraging them to write down their goals.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. I understand where you're coming from in the general gyms, and even in places like here, like a CrossFit gym, you do get the kind of personality of people that do have goals, but after a while people get to their goals and then they don't have the next goal, which is a really common problem. You have that one thing that made you start, and you go like, I want to feel fitter, you start feeling a little bit fitter, and then you get stagnant again. You go, well, what's the next thing? And like we both know, life is so much about stretching yourself, and to grow you need to stretch.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be discomforting, it needs to be a little bit painful, but without that you're never going to get to that next stage of your life. And reminding people that goal setting is such a valuable tool, because it gives you something to aim for, it gives you something to reach for, it gives you that next step, of going forward and not just going sideways through life, which I think a lot of people in fitness do.
We just coast,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I myself have gotten to that point where, yes, I reach certain goals, and then I'm like, what do I do now? Which is one of the reasons I found myself here at CrossFit Down Under, because I set some new goals for my fitness and I wanted to stretch myself, like you said. I think that analogy applies not only in your training and fitness, but it applies in all areas of your life. If you're just sitting there comfortable, you're not in a little bit of discomfort, you're not growing. And if you're happy to be where you're at, then that's great. But if you want to take things to the next level in any area of your life, whether it be in career, in fitness, in your relationship, you need to push yourself a little bit further into that uncomfortable place, because you're not going to grow otherwise.
Exactly. And you're going to stay in the same place. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's pretty much the definition of being crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, another thing, you do body composition analysis. So you're helping people with nutrition and with that side of things quite often. What's the biggest mistake people make when it comes to their diet or their And when I say diet, I don't just mean the food, but
Yeah.
their approach to food that you see.
People are at different stages, and I respect those different stages that they're at. Some people may be at a stage where they feel like they're making some really good changes and they're eating all low fat, or they're eating certain foods that they think are a good choice, but then really not that good a choice. It's just the stage in their journey that they're at. And I can identify with that because I've gone through that myself. I've gone through the stage where I used to buy my children K-Time Twister bars because I thought they were a healthy option than LCM bars. They weren't allowed to eat LCM bars, but they could eat K-Time Twist because that was healthy in my mind at where I was at. So it's just, they need to get a little bit more educated, and the biggest mistake is processed food. You know, is trying to eat healthy processed food. The best thing they can do is just go back to just the real whole foods, cooking things from scratch, and it really doesn't take much time, and having lots of fresh fruit and vegetables and things like that. Just ditch the packaged stuff. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah. And I mean, the amount of packaged food that people eat nowadays, it's pretty crazy. And I think one of the biggest issues we have with that is that, you know, as a whole industry, it can be so much quicker and economic to eat badly than it is to eat healthy. And people just, you know, it's about getting used to that, you know, giving a little 5 minutes now for a couple of years in the future.
Exactly. Well, your body is your temple. You've only got one body. Why abuse it so badly? You know, and so many of us do it. I know from the way I lived and ate, I did abuse my body, and it's taken me years with correcting my eating and training, and also supplementing my body at the cellular level to correct the damage that I did to the insides of my body, and I'm still working on making it better. I ate so terribly for so long, and I was a very stressed person as well, and we all know how bad stress can be for us. So
and the last thing I'd like us to discuss is when you see people and it comes to the nutrition, and you know, people are coming to you from that angle, what's the biggest roadblock in people's lives, and this can go outside of fitness, that you see people stopping them from achieving their goals?
So did you say aside from fitness?
Yeah, aside from fitness. So now just, I guess, in general in life, you know, in proper self-development, what are the biggest roadblocks that you see?
There are excuses.
Yeah.
We can all come up with excuses. I did it for years. My life had every excuse why this didn't work or that didn't work for me. It's just your excuses. We can come up with as many excuses as we want. It's a matter of priorities. What's important to you? Why is it important to you? And it comes back to those goals. You know, asking yourself those questions. What's important to you? Using your children as an excuse or a reason. Ask yourself the question in a different way. So you get a different answer, and then you can start to remove those roadblocks that you have in your mind. And I think it's important for everybody to do personal development. So I'm huge on personal development. That comes in with faith for me. So your food, your fitness, and your personal development and faith come in together. Spend 15 to 20 minutes minimum a day on growing your mind, on growing yourself as a person, on learning some more. It's not much time, you know, we're on public transport or in cars, just pop an audio in. There's audio books everywhere now. So I don't have much time to sit and read, but I'm on the go all the time. So sometimes when I'm training, I've got personal development in. So I certainly notice the difference myself in what I can achieve if I'm doing my personal development for 15, 20 minutes a day. Sometimes I get a little bit busy and you miss it for a day, 2 or 3, and all of a sudden you realise you're not doing it anymore and just not progressing in the same way as before. So
I totally understand. Now, if people wanted to get in contact with you and find out more about you, how can they do that, Fatima?
freedomfit.com.au is the website, or phone number is 0431 308 882.
Cool, very cool. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks, Rael.
Okay, now we'll get to training.
Yes, let's do that. New PB.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today, guys. You can follow us at, find us on iTunes, Something RxD. Follow our YouTube channel, and if you haven't liked us on Facebook, go to Facebook / facebook.com/Something RxD. Thanks, guys. Take care and peace.